Welcome, everyone, to Tailgate Thursday for week number 6 of the 2022 college football season. My name is David Morrison. I'm the Vol Society lead analyst here on the Vol Society Network, here to break down a very, very busy week number 6 of the college football season. We got a lot of games to talk about, so let's not waste any more time. Let's dive into it. High noon on ESPN, our beloved Tennessee Volunteers will be rocking the Smoky Grays as we head down to Baton Rouge for an early morning kickoff against the 25th ranked LSU Tigers. Tennessee undefeated on the season, coming off a bye week after the emotional win against Florida. Now they got a big, tough road game, the SEC road opener for the Volunteers as they take on LSU. LSU's playing fairly well right now after that opening season loss to Florida State. They've now won, I believe, 4 in a row right now, but it's going to be a tough matchup, but should be a lot of fun as number 8 Tennessee takes on number 25 LSU. A couple of undefeated teams in the Big 12 and two teams that are very surprisingly undefeated at this point. Number 17 TCU at number 19 Kansas. Kansas has been the biggest surprise this season in college football, projected to only win 2 or 3 games this year. They're right now sitting at 5-0 when they head into this contest, and if they defeat TCU, they'll already be bowl eligible. That is amazing what Lance Leopold has done so far, and kudos to TCU, 4-0 on the year. Sonny Dykes, first-year head coach for the Horned Frogs. They just absolutely dominated Oklahoma on their home field. This is a big-time game in the Big 12. TCU at Kansas, 12 o'clock on FS1. The Red River Shootout between Texas and Oklahoma, unfortunately, it's lost a lot of steam due to both teams kind of having flat seasons. But guess what? Throw the record books out. This is still a big-time rivalry game between the Longhorns and the Sooners. It'll be Texas and Oklahoma from the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, home of the Texas State Fair, noon on ABC. The first of 2 games on CBS this Saturday featuring SEC teams, obviously. The Auburn Tigers heading down to Athens to take on the number 2 Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia has been kind of flat the last couple of weeks and got into a scare last week at Missouri. They had to escape with the win in the fourth quarter. And now here comes one of their big rivals in Auburn as they come into town. Auburn still trying to find out what their season's going to happen, especially with all the rumors around Brian Harsin of his future status down in Auburn. But it's the Deep South's oldest rivalry. Should be intense, a lot of emotion as Auburn takes on number 2 Georgia, 3:30 on CBS. Going to the Pac-12 conference. Number 11 Utah at number 18 UCLA. Last time we saw the Utah Utes on Tailgate Thursday, they fell to the Florida Gators on their first game of the season, but they've rebounded nicely, got back into the top 15, and now they will head to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena to take on the undefeated UCLA Bruins. Chip Kelly is having a great season so far, his best team he's had since he's took over this program. They came off a huge top 20 win against Washington late Friday night. So should be a lot of fun to see where these two teams are stack up in that Pac-12 race as number 11 Utah takes on number 18 UCLA. To the Big Ten we go in the 4 o'clock slot. Number 3 Ohio State at Michigan State. Michigan State's been one of the most disappointing teams this season. Last year they were one of the surprising teams, but now I guess reality is set in. Mel Tucker needs to get this program turned around pretty quickly, but it's going to be a tall task as Ryan Day leads number 3 Ohio State into Spartan Stadium. So anything can happen. There could be an upset here. We'll find out as number 3 Ohio State takes on Michigan State, 4 o'clock on ABC. Going to the primetime games, we stop off in Las Vegas first as number 16 BYU takes on Notre Dame. BYU having a pretty quiet but a successful season. BYU had that nice win at home against Baylor a few weeks ago, and now they'll take on Notre Dame. This is Notre Dame's annual Shamrock Series game. They always play a neutral site game and have funky uniforms and stuff. Notre Dame, like I said, they started out very sluggish in the season, dropped their first couple of games, but they've kind of rebounded nicely, picked up a win at North Carolina the last time we saw the Fighting Irish. But it will be the Cougars and the Fighting Irish from Sin City, 7:30 on NBC Saturday night. And then our final college football game, we're going to profile the second half of that CBS doubleheader in primetime. Texas A&M at number 1 Alabama. This game, just back in the summer was definitely one of those cannot wait games because of the drama between Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban over NIL and recruiting allegations, kind of pointing fingers. Well, unfortunately, this game has lost a lot of steam, mainly due to Texas A&M's lack of play. They dropped to Mississippi State last Saturday, and now they got to take on Alabama. But if you remember last year, before Texas A&M took on Alabama and upset the Crimson Tide, they lost to Mississippi State the week before. So can lightning strike twice? That would be a huge upset if it does. But we'll find out what happens as the Aggies take on the Crimson Tide, 8 o'clock Saturday night on CBS. And finally, our high school game of the week here at the Ball Society. We're going to profile Macon County, who is 6-1 on the year, taking on the undefeated Stone Memorial Panthers at 7-0. This is our Ball Society high school football game of the week. The Tigers and the Panthers going to duke it out Friday night in our game of the week. Don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts, facebook.com/UT Vol Society, youtube.com/Vol Society, and on Twitter at Society Vol. Also, make sure you listen to the official podcast of Vol Society, Good Old Rocky Top, available where you listen to your podcasts. We had our very first guest on Good Old Rocky Talk, and we welcome in our buddy Ryan Hughes. Had a great story about what he does in his profession and how he helps some special young people in his job. Please make sure you go back and listen to that podcast. He did a fantastic job, and we also talked about the Tennessee LSU game. That's going to do it for another Tailgate Thursday. My name is David Morrison. We'll meet y'all back here next Thursday, previewing another week of college football. Have a great day, and go Vols.